and I was up there in the trees. I actually liked it, you know, fighting forest fires, and you know what I mean, just out in the woods and all that stuff. Then I got sent down from camp to PSI, Preston School of Industry. I was just maybe 18 or something. And I didn't deserve to get sent down the hill, as they used to call it. Then when I was in Preston, a lot of stuff happened. I got sent to Tracy, Duell Vocational Institution. This is now medium security prison. I was 18 or 19, something like that. I didn't deserve none of that, but I got sent anyway. When I was getting ready to get out, my date was 1963. We had a riot in the field house in maybe January, February, something like that. I was supposed to go home the next month. In 64, I, like a fool, jumped up on the field house. They got a movie screen in there. They got bleachers. They got all basketball courts. Well, a field house, it's an outside gym, like a big, the whole thing is there. Field house, recreation, weights, all that stuff, because they might have fog line, right? Or it's really raining real hard, and you could be still locked up, and you could go and have a good time, in the field house. So it was inside, all the gates, when they locked up the gates, you couldn't go outside. Okay, anyway. In fact, Brother Farouk, he told my son, he said, yeah, I got the paperwork. This is a guy that done a lot of time in prison. And he did 30 years and he went back. You may not believe it. Brother Farouk stayed out a couple of years and he went back for murder. In 1980, let's say 84, 85. He got out in 81, 82. Yeah. He'd been in prison all that time. That means his whole life has been in prison. So he has the paperwork from 1964. Yeah, because you can order your paperwork. See, we all got put in the hole. It was a whole group of us got put in the hole. And he was one of them that got put in the hole. And I was one that got put in the hole, and it has my name, C. Reams, because my son told me, because he was in the pen with Brother Farouk. He knew Brother Farouk. We visited him in the county jail. I used to take my sons, when I visit people in the county jail or visit people in prison, I would take them with me. And they would look at the guy, one of my best friends, who was up on the island together from San We went over to San Francisco County Jail. He said, Dad, he looked tired. So yeah, he just got out of the penitentiary, he stayed out a little while, and now he's facing 18 years in prison. That was then, in the early 80s. He got out and went right back. He just got out, either last year on that old folk stuff, that you're old and so they say let him out. Anyway, let me continue. So when I got to Tracy, when we had to ride in the field house, I'm just in there like everybody else. The Europeans had a friend, Ducky, over in the bleachers, and I jumped up on the boxing ring and looked around and just yelled, charge, For that I got a little extra time because everybody remembered it instead the police do. But everybody in the prison remember it as one of the youngest guys in the prison taking charge of everything. When it was in the heat of everything. And I didn't have any idea why I jumped up and said, looked around and said, charge. None whatsoever. But when I got out on March 7th, 1965. I knew why I'd done an extra year. Because about I got out in 64, I just accepted that Nation of Islam stuff, but it wasn't deep enough. When I came home, I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, and I had the same type of discipline I have now, lifting weights and all that stuff. And my best friend, who was a boxer, we started going up in the hills and running instead of running at the lake, you know. The same thing I do now. So that was, I see now why I stayed an extra year. And am I glad? Absolutely glad, very, very glad that I stayed an extra year. Because when I got out, I saw one of the brothers, we used to call him Brother Puff, in the county jail in LA. And I was getting ready to go back to McNeil Island. And we was talking. I said, man, how long you stay out? He said, man, I ain't stayed out but such and such. I said, yeah, I was out 8 years. He looked at 8 years? 8 years? That's when I was doing all that stuff. Then I was coming back from South America. In that 8 years, I went overseas, East Oakland Enterprises, become very wealthy. You know, all of that stuff, I had done that within that 8 years. You know, from 65 to 73, I had did all of that, a whole lifetime, and none of my friends wasn't out over 2-3 weeks or a month or a few years. They all back and forth. Anyway, so there's a reason. Okay. The other thing I want to mention is the attitude of sleeping under a bridge. We all know this in our literature. That was the attitude, not the past goal, but that was the attitude that we had arranged for ourselves for this period, that we're getting ready to move to another period. That was a few years ago. So we have to be prepared to sleep under a bridge. And psychologically, that's almost what I wanted to be doing, is sleeping under a bridge. Because I know myself, and I know if I'm sleeping under a bridge, it's all over. I mean, I'm going to work like, that's all I'm going to do, is come back. You know, setback ain't nothing but a setup for a comeback, That was just psychologically. All the comebacks I made have never been from sleeping under a bridge. When I left the country, you watch Superfly run off with $150,000. That's in those days. That would be the same as 1.5 million now. And that's after the stress, after the stress, after the stress. That's after, I don't know if I showed you the rest list, how many times that's after all of that. I still leave with that. That's after East Oakland Enterprises. That's after helping everybody, that Godfather stuff. Well, I want to start a business. Or my boxing friends, I say, hey, why don't you have your trainer provoke? Why don't you have Mr. Moore just promote some fights? We don't have the money. Well, here you go. Y'all just promote. And till they saw that they wasn't promoters, I would tell them, just give me what I gave you back, if you can. And then, in other words, whoever wanted to do something, they got it. Now, the other Negroes didn't do that. All the big Negroes, they didn't do that. Now, if we were to measure how people came out, if I leave with 1.5 million, that was before people was getting super big money, like in the mid-70s and later, early 80s. people selling crack out there and all that. That's like minimum wage work. No, when I used to sell matchboxes of marijuana, matchboxes, I bought 2 Cadillacs. I got rich selling matchboxes, and because that's what they wanted to do. By the way, let me get back to the crux of the story. My friends, 2 of them, borrowed. One is dead, so I mentioned his name. Jesse Lee, big, tall guy. They borrowed $200 from me. In 1966, I was working down at the box company. In fact, I had gotten wealthy just working overtime and saving my money. Anyway, they borrowed $200. They paid me the $200 back, and then they gave me $500 worth of marijuana, already bagged up and everything. Remember, I didn't smoke weed, I didn't have nothing to do with all that. I didn't eat no pork, I didn't do none of that. I didn't drink, I didn't do none of that. I was actually what they call a black Musa. So anyway, of course I was getting high going, taking them to the temple, but I wasn't paying that much attention. I mean, you can't do no fishing if you can't make the Negro live righteous right away. You got to take time. Anyway, no, think about it. All the money that we acquired, nobody else acquired that kind of money. And when they did, they kept it for themselves. Now we spread the money out, like they used to say. Because I came to the conclusion in those years, because I sold that $500 worth of marijuana. At that time, you made $100 a week. So I said, man, that's pretty good. So then after I started selling smoke, I got on, the way they changed the shifts. I was on the night shift from 7 at night, I guess, up until in the morning. The night shift, whatever that is.
11 to 7.
Yeah, that's it, 11 to 7. So, I was home all day. And that week, I made $1,500. You gotta imagine, I'm talking about 66 and all that. That's like 15,000 now. It's the same as 15,000. If you imagine that how much the cars cost, how much the houses cost, how much the rent was. The rent, 2-bedroom, brand new apartment, wall-to-wall carpet, was $100, $110. That's what you paid. It was $110. And you made $400, so you didn't pay nothing. Just fun. Anyway. So I made $1,500. Because I'm home all day. And everybody come, they wake me up, and then, hey man, you got it? Yeah, here you go. Shoot, I quit right away. It wasn't hardly no time. I quit that job. I quit that job, and I was gone. But anyway, I'm gonna try to speed this up, because one of the things that I discovered when I got to be kind of, up there, I looked at all the Negroes, the big Negroes, and I said, man, if these guys would have been born in another environment, they would be, I use the term in my own mind, captains of industry. Now remember, I studied and read all of it even then, you know what I mean? I was studying then. I said they would be captains of industry, which is true. The same thing I say about them today. If our people would have got into what we got into, those guys, they would have been super big. I mean, you got to look at where we are. We're in the world. We're on the world stage here. We're in the United States. Out of the Negro community, ain't nobody getting the attention that we are here. Absolutely nobody, unless we're just missing the boat. I haven't heard about it, and I haven't seen it. And if they're not getting that many cases, they're not getting all these fines, they're not getting what we're getting here. They're not getting it. Because if they was, they would be talking about it. You know, they would be saying, man, the police come by, let me, I got 5 fines. You know what I mean? They doing this, they doing. They would be talking about it. Or somebody would be writing about it. You know what I'm saying? So ain't nobody, we're not a myth here. We're living through this. Okay? But now remember, maybe other people wouldn't like this, but the hadith is clear about delay. That Allah liked people to delay in a certain, we delay. The other thing about self-contentment, that if you do Allah's work, right, Allah gonna make sure He gonna close up the door to your poverty. You ain't gonna be without no money, right? And then you're gonna be content, self-content. That's true. That's really, actually true. But if you don't do it, you're going to be working and you still ain't going to have no money. You're going to be paying bills. You know, you're going to be all that. That's what the hadith say. So for us, this is a leisure. This is really, really leisure. You can kind of get a feel because you can tell how things are going. You know, you can tell if people are stressed out. My partner that took over the party after Pete O'Neill, he took a picture of me when I first came to Algeria. Man, I was all scrunched up and mean. And when I saw him later a couple of years ago in Tanzania, he said, man, let me give you this picture. Look at what you was looking like then. I was mad. I'd been under all that governmental pressure. You see all them arrest after arrest. I was mad then. That was then. That was then. That was 1971. That ain't now. Right? We deal with 50 times as much as that stuff then. But it wasn't clear. That was an educational period. You know, that was a real training period. That was my elementary teaching. When I come through that, I was ready for just about everything else. That whole period of inside the United States, outside the United States, down to South America, and then up here, then I go to prison. You see what I mean? When I go to prison in 73, 74, something like that, hey man, and when we come out, there's a long period, we call it wandering in the wilderness. It's not wandering in the wilderness, it's like the movement is over. What are you going to do? You know what I discovered? Especially when I was in South America. I said, the white man knows where I am, and what I'm doing, and what I need. He's running this. And then I used to get mad because they would have the police, you know what I mean, and they would be scared. Now I got a house full of cocaine, so I'm actually scared. You know, not scared like they gonna hurt me scared, but scared like, man, if they get all my dope, and they was playing with me. They played with me, they would be playing. When I get up every morning to go run, they was playing with me. When I was in Mexico, they would be playing with me. When I was in Venezuela, they would be playing. Now remember, all the time I'm overseas, I got Carlos's mini manual, selected works, German Mao Zedong. I'm studying all the time. Later on, I was in Curacao. I was coming back down here and I got a book called The Magic of Thinking Big. It's like Think and Grow Rich, that type of book. And I was reading that, and at that time I said, man, if I'd had this book a little while ago, I would, you know, because it do this, do that, think things out. I was doing all of that. I read that book, and that book became a companion like. Because remember, I'm by myself most of the time. Yeah, like I have a team come by, they stay a while, we pack them up and send them back. Maybe I come up to the Mexican border, because I wouldn't come on this side, and I have a meeting with everybody, then I go back down. So I spent a lot of time technically by myself. So I'll get to the point in a minute. Number one, the brothers would have been captains of industry. And number two, we had to figure out what we were going to do. The movement is dead. When I go back to Africa in '73, first I went to Algeria. I didn't even know the brothers was gone. I went back to Algeria. And I said, take me to the Black Panther headquarters. Black Panther, Black Panther. The guy was acting funny. So I knew how to get there. I told him, go this way, that way. He went there. There wasn't nobody there. The place was closed. It's okay. So I stayed a while. Then I realized that they was all gone. So I sent my little sister back, and then, in fact, I ain't never seen her since. Then I went to East Africa. I went to East Africa because that's where I went. And there was some of the, so the brother told me what happened. Pete O'Neill, he took over in '72 when Eldridge stepped down as leader of the party. He's the one. You probably saw the Panther in Africa or something like that. Yeah, there's a video about it. So we became best friends. So I came back to take them